Is this thing on? Welcome to Rebooted the Podcast. I'm your host, Alita Hernandez. Come join me weekly to hear about my journey from recovery to healing after having a stroke and other life challenges. So let's get talking. I had COVID again for the second time. So COVID survivor twice. Woo! So you can do it too. Taking my vitamins, eating healthy. I didn't take any other medicines and I'm doing wonderful. Okay? So to get back to our show today. Today is Latina Mastermind and we have an incredible guest, and I say that every week because I try to bring the best to you and bring specialists and people who are expert in their field. But before we talk more about my guests, just wanted to remind you today, this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. So very important. If you know anybody that's struggling out there, reach out to them, see if they need something. Sometimes a hello or a hug, just somebody that's concerned about them really helps them a lot. Okay, so reach out. Everybody's been trying to get through the COVID. It's still going on. It's been 2 years now, 2.5 years or something, and we're still living with it. And a lot of people are still affected about their work and their financial situations and their health. So there's always ways out there for you to get better. So keep watching my show. I always have different tips coming up on health and everything like that. Talking about health, I'm doing a 90 Club Fit challenge, which is through Club Secret, and it's going to be amazing. I'm doing this for myself because I feel like I did a couple of challenges already with Becca Tivon, and she was on my first guest on the show. Well, she does her 17-minute a day with the band, which worked amazing. Because I'm already down probably over 55 pounds, okay, since I started working out, and it's been since July of 2020, right in the middle of, we were home in COVID. I was getting depressed. I was just eating because there was nothing else to do. Even though I would go outside and get some sun, because I live in Boca Raton, Florida, which the weather is always beautiful here and hot. So we took advantage of the sun and the vitamin D, so I spent a lot of time outside and got into the pool. And then I reconnected with Becca and we started doing this workout, and it's really helped me get my strength back, get my muscles elongated, and just really amazing, especially for women over 40. So, and I'm 57 years old, so you can do it too. So anyway, so now I'm gonna start doing this next challenge through Club Secret, which is another amazing thing. They give you all what you need to eat, your workout and everything. We have a private Facebook page that we can go into and see what's going on and the tips for the day for the exercise. Again, Club Secret, another video you'll see later regarding about travel and just enjoy your life. We're trying to look better, feel better, and live better. Who doesn't want to do that? I know I do. And after being stuck at home for a couple of months, and I don't want to be stuck anymore. Cruises are open, airplanes are flying everywhere, no mask on the plane. Also, just be careful when you go out there. I don't know how the heck I got COVID for the second time, but it could be anything. I touched something, somebody was sick, they don't know about it, some people don't even have symptoms. And there you go, I got it again. But I right away left the house because I was not going to get my mother or my aunt, who are 82 and 84, infected again. There was no way I was going through that again. Last December was really bad experience because unfortunately, when you go into the hospital and there's no visitation for my mother, who was 84 years old, and is 84 years old and is starting with Alzheimer's, unfortunately. So the COVID, you get the brain fog. So during that time, it really just sucked their brains. My mother she didn't even remember she's in the hospital. She didn't know anything, like 3 months or just didn't happen. And the same thing with my aunt too. She came home and she didn't know how to take a shower. She didn't know how to get dressed. She just looked at me like, I don't know what to do. And it was really, really sad thing to see what goes on in the brain, because your brain, everything happens, like your brain makes your whole body function. So again, your thoughts are important. You have to stay positive, keep a positive outlook, try to keep what you eat, healthy and clean. And if you remember when Dr. Love was here, he talked about fast food, vegan fast food. What's that? A salad. Wow. Grab a salad, tomato, an onion, a red pepper. You got lunch, and it's vegan. So, and if you eat meat, you can add chicken in there, or salmon, or something healthy. But it's fast, and you lose weight on top of it too. So, let's see. So again, talking about mental health awareness. My guest that will come after our break, she'll come later on, and I'll introduce Dr. Gonzalez. She's amazing. She has her incredible story you're going to hear, because everybody I bring here always has a story. Every individual in the world has a story to tell. Somebody's gone through something. Doesn't matter how old you are, even when you're little. When I was little, my parents got divorced young, so I went through that whole thing of the separation and divorce. And back when I was young, we didn't talk about mental health. Like, nobody went to a psychologist. A psychiatrist? No. In our Latin culture, my family's from Puerto Rico, they say if you go to a psychologist or you do something like that, they say you're loco, which means crazy. And right away, oh, ese está loco. He's just crazy. You don't go to a psychologist, and there's always a stigma about mental health, about getting help. And for men, even worse, because the ego and the pride of the Latin man, there's no way that he's going to say, I need help, I need to go to a psychologist. And if he does, he's going to go really quiet and not tell anybody. And that's an issue, because they might be suffering. We all suffer depression and self-doubt, and just, you start attacking yourself, oh, why me kind of thing, and not knowing how to think correctly to get yourself out of the situation you're in. So never be ashamed to go to ask for help. There are a lot of 800 numbers you can call, and I'm going to put some stuff later on social media, especially when I upload the video today, just to get some help for mental health awareness, and some numbers that you call, the suicide watch. There's a lot of help out there for you guys. So don't feel alone. Please reach out. If you want to reach out to me, you can send me a message on Facebook or DM me on Instagram, whatever. I can guide you, send you to somebody. Please reach out. Don't stay hiding in the house and being depressed, okay? Okay, so we still have a few minutes. Sorry, guys. I'm regrouping since last week, and today we're having an hour show, so it's not a half an hour show. So I have a lot more to talk to about today. And I have another little special guest that's with me, and he's gonna be here to accompany me through the show, which is my husband, J.C. Colon, and he is a singer of Salsa and Control Orchestra. So he's going to be accompanying me shortly over here, and join me in the conversation, so that way, and there he is. Hi.
How you doing?
It's my honey.
Thank you for inviting me to your show, Rebooted. I really appreciate that.
Of course. I needed somebody to sit next to, and we're wearing red. I forgot. Very important. Go Panthers.
Go Panthers.
Florida Panthers.
First game tonight.
Second round, first game against Tampa Bay. We're going to kick their butts today, okay? Because we're winning. So if you didn't know, I'm a huge hockey fan. I've been in Florida for 22 years, and I follow hockey. I followed hockey since I was 13 years old back in New York. I used to go to Madison Square Garden and see the New York Rangers. They're still true to my heart, but I've been here 22 years already, so I support our local team, Florida Panthers. Woo! And we also support the Miami Dolphins, even though I'm not a Dolphins fan, but I do support them because I am here in Florida.
And we got season tickets.
We got season tickets this year.
That's gonna be
so we're going to have some incredible games. The team that I love is Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, Patrick Mahomes is my quarterback. Besides that, my son is like his twin. So I virtually adopted Patrick Mahomes, in case you hear me, because my son looks so much like you, you could be brothers. Okay, and you're an incredible quarterback, and we're going to be watching you for the next 15 years. That's for sure. So right now we're going to take a quick break and we're going to see a couple of commercials and I'll see you right back.
Let's be honest, when you want this VIP lifestyle 24/7, or at least almost 24/7, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? Now there is Club Secret, the ultimate lifestyle membership. Our VIP global brand is centered around helping people look better, feel better, and experiencing the world. We have proven world-class self-care products to enhance your outer self so you look like a VIP. We have the ultimate premium supplements and plant-based nutrition to give you the cleanest energy to help you go throughout your day so you feel like a VIP. Being a part of Club Secret enables you to experience the world like you never have before through our wholesale booking platform, luxury vacation homes, villas, cruises, and our flagship group curated escapes to the most exciting parts of the world. And we don't stop there. You are a VIP, and we want to make sure you always feel that way. We give you access to memorable experiences with VIP events centered around F1 racing, Wimbledon, Kentucky Derby, the Open, NFL, NBA, NHL, and more. Like VIP packages to the most popular concerts and festivals that we all know and love. Club Secret gives you savings on other lifestyle benefits such as telemedicine to save you time and money, popular retail brand partners, and more. So for less than a Starbucks cup of coffee a day, we want you to have the VIP life every day, not just every once in a while. What's in the membership again? You get 30% off all premium product lines, save time and money at telemedicine, having a doctor access 24/7, wholesale hotel booking engine, curated escapes, VIP experiences, brand partner discounts, loyalty points on most things purchased in the community, and more. So if you want to claim your VIP status now in our Ultimate Lifestyle community, text or direct message the person back immediately that had you watch this video to learn more.
Hi everybody, I hope you love the Club Secret, The Good Life. Let me tell you, it's amazing. They have so many, it's a membership club, but it's more than that. Please DM me, text me, whatever you need to get in touch with me so you can find out more about Club Secret. I'll give you all the information that you need. I have some products here. I'm using Energy. Energy is unbelievable. It's a clean, organic fuel. There's no GMOs, there's gluten-free, it's dairy-free, soy-free, no artificial ingredients. I mean, it's plant-based, it's amazing. You know how I am about health. I want clean ingredients, clean products. I'm not taking anything that's gonna hurt my body. So I'm using this. This is great. I do this, I drink this with water in the morning, with 6 ounces of water or 8 ounces of water in the morning.
You get a lot of energy with this, believe it or not. You have energy for the whole day. And by the way, I'm the newest member of Club Secret.
Yeah.
Very proud to be the new member. I went with the Pro Pack, $2,000, but I'm already starting to feel the benefits. I can't wait to book my cruise and my flights to go to Mexico and the Caribbean.
That's right.
Okay.
He got 3 trips with the Pro Pack. So we're going to DR for all-inclusive food, liquor, and hotel for 6 days and 5 nights. Then we're going on a cruise. I'm not sure where, but we can choose any cruise we want. There's
I think
like
it's 200,
so many.
right? Like 200 cruises, different cruise
Yeah, and it's
destinations?
all around the world. So we can go and fly to, say, Paris and take a cruise from there.
That's correct.
Because I always wanted to do the Viking cruises. I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're like in the river. And then they have Mediterranean cruises and you go to, oh my God, there's so much you can do.
I can't wait to the European. Never been to Europe, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to use one of my trips to go to Europe.
That's right.
I've always
That's
been
right.
interested in Greece because I like the stories about the Greek gods. So
And it
I
looks
would like to
beautiful there
experience-
too.
and-
I've
and
never
the
been
food,
to Greece.
The food, they told me the food is excellent also. So
Oh yeah, and we love Greek food.
a
so.
lot of vegan, a lot of healthy stuff. in
Yeah,
Greek food.
exactly. So before I go to our guests, so JC, tell me what's going on lately with Salsa en Control.
Well, you do know that Rebooted the Podcast is a show about wellness. So there's also wellness in the entertainment industry. People need to get out. They need to dance. They need to clear their minds and have a little fun. It's exercise at the same time. So starting June 9th, Thursday, June 9th, I'm opening a new venue called Genesis. It's in Pompano Beach. For more information, everybody knows my websites. I will put everything on the websites. Check it out. But it's every Thursday. And the best of all is you can bring your own bottle to this party. For more information, like I said, call me at 561-929-5243 for more information. But it's going to be every Thursday. The first grand opening is going to be with my orchestra, Salsa en Control. And we have 3 DJs, DJ Mambo G, DJ Elliot Crespo, and DJs Carlos Santiago. All 3 of them deal with the salsa congresses, and they're all over the place. Carlos Santiago from Orchard Beach. He's the one that does all the big parties with the orchestras at the
Bringing
beach.
New York to Florida.
We're bringing New York to Florida. Just remember, starting June 9, Genesis nightclub on Pompano, right on Powerline Road. So,
You'll see the flyer
Right.
on my social media. Don't worry, you'll see it everywhere. I'll put it on my page.
it's already posted.
And it's already posted all over the place. So you can see it. Rebooted the Podcast is there on the Nuestro magazine as well. In Control Productions. I mean, I have all my stuff. I'll share everything with you all. So with no further ado, let's bring in Dr. Gonzalez.
Let's go.
She's been waiting. Hi, doctor. I'm so happy to see you and so honored that you gave me the time to come on my show.
Oh, Doc. She unmuted herself. Tell her.
You're on. I think you're on mute. I can't hear you.
She just said, oh.
He caught it. I
There we
said,
are. Oh, we are. I'm like, what's going on?
I said, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor. The honor is mine to be here and to serve for you and your audience. Thank you so much.
Well, again, thank you. So let's begin. I guess let's just begin about your story, because that's an incredible story. I met you with Becca Tibon. We were on a Diva weekend detox retreat. And we spent a whole weekend juicing, drinking water, exercising, meditating, and we just cleaned. It was a whole wellness retreat. It was amazing. And then Dr. Gonzalez came in to talk to us, and it was just amazing.
Thank you. I mean, we can share the story that I think you've heard before, which is how I also got into a very deep wellness journey as well. About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. I had, I'm a high achiever, so breast cancer, there's 3 types of breast cancer. I had 3 tumors. I had 2 out of the 3 breast cancers. One was less aggressive. One was more aggressive. Thank God I didn't have the most aggressive breast cancer, but I still had 2 out of 3 breast cancers. Before even knowing that that was going to be my journey, I had already started, I've always been healthier, and I love to juice, and I've controlled my cholesterol that way. I've done a lot of things through just green and raw and juicing. But once I got the diagnosis, I think it set me, it was very clear to me that I had a decision to make. Either I chose life or or I chose death. And so having 4 kids and being the sole provider for those 4 children, for me, it was a very easy decision. The decision was I was committed to keeping my feet above ground. And so I began a very intense detox system for my body. The first, I think, 5 weeks, I lost 20 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. I then had my surgery. So I'm blessed in that the doctors who dragged their feet a little bit wasn't the ones who actually did the surgery. Once I got to the surgeon who did the surgery, she's like, oh my gosh, should have been in here like weeks ago. She's like, you know, this is a ticking time bomb for you. But those 5 weeks really gave me the opportunity to learn about healthy eating and what it means to eat. And I think most of us, the way we handle food is that we eat to feed ourselves. Right? We're hungry, you know, that looks like a really good, you know, food on the plate. We want to be able to, we indulge with our eyes. It looks so good. Our smells, you know, our sensations kind of get kicked in, right? And so by the time you know it, I think, Alida, you were saying, like, in COVID, what else could I do, right? And that's a little bit of like mindlessness, right? Like we have something in front of us and it's something to do, without realizing that you're putting something in your body that you may not want to put in. And, you know, we've all been, I can't say all of us, but I think the majority of us had been some type of victim to that type of mentality, myself included. And so I lost 20 pounds 5 weeks in. You couldn't really tell how much weight I had on me that I shouldn't have had, but I'll let you know the grand total when I finish this little clip of the story. So I go in, 20 pounds go off. I had high cholesterol. I want to say my triglycerides were high. Everything was like literally off the charts. The doctor had said to me, "You're a walking heart attack, Isaura, and I'm going to give you medication." And I said, "Absolutely not. I'm not taking medicine. You can prescribe it if you'd like. I can take the prescription from you if you'd like, but I'm not going to take the medicine." I said, I've done it before, and I'm going to do it a natural, healthy way. So P.S. then I get this cancer, right? That was like a day or two before getting the official diagnosis. I've already been green juicing. I lose these 20 pounds. I go in for surgery. I'm in the hospital for over a week. And then I come out and I lose another 10 pounds. So at this point, we're 30 pounds down. 30 pounds that I'm not even sure how I had accumulated them. Within the next, I think, 3 months after that, I was losing probably like 5 pounds a week. And it wasn't because of the cancer. It wasn't because of the chemo. It wasn't because I got sick from any of the medication. Because if I'm going to be transparent and honest with you, the way that I was eating and healing myself, I had not one single side effect from the chemo. Like nothing. The side effect that I wound up having was my hair fell out. Like that was really the only way that you could really tell that I had gotten cancer, that something was going on in my body to the naked eye, that something was wrong with me as a person, with my body, was the fact that my hair fell off. But other than that, I was coming in and out, and I was literally in the hospital every single day for probably close to a year to save my life. And those lessons really taught me a lot. So it taught me the first thing, that you're the only one that can take care of yourself.
That's right.
So a lot of us think, oh, fulanito can do this for me, or menganito can do this for me. And maybe there are some material things that people can help you with. But when it comes to taking the power and the control of your wellness and your life, there's only one person that can do that, and that's you.
That's you.
And that's you, and that's it. So I wound up losing at the end of when my body had shed all the weight, because I wasn't purposefully trying to lose the weight. It was my body now getting kicked in because I wasn't feeding myself anymore. I started to feed my cells. So I realized that my cells needed to eat. My cells needed to be strong. My cells needed to carry me to my commitment, which was feet above ground. And so I lost 60 pounds. And I was actually at the weight I was probably when I was 18. And the first day I saw myself, when I realized how much weight I had really lost and why people were so shooken every time they saw me. And everyone thought it was the cancer. Everyone thought I was being consumed by the cancer. Everyone thought I was being consumed by the chemo. Everyone thought that it was something external when really it was internal. And I saw my clavicle and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, I'm really skinny. And then I went into the storage unit where I had some stuff, and I had a picture of my then husband and I in the storage facility. And I picked up the picture and I was like, oh my gosh, I was that skinny way back then. And I had completely forgotten. I wasn't connected to myself. And so those are the lessons you learn when you have a very deep health journey. You learn to detox your body. You learn to detox your mind. These are things that I just heard you talk about right in the intro. You learn to detox your spirit, right? Your soul. Yes. Detoxing your soul becomes really important also in this process. So the things that you were talking about earlier, really, it's a combination of all of this, right? Like I think it's Seacrest, right? That you were saying.
Secret.
Club Secret.
Secret. Right. Like all of that is part of like communing with nature, right? That's part of your soul and your spirituality. So there's a lot of things that, the products that you have on the table, they're plant-based, they're non-GMO. Like the more you begin to understand what you're consuming, what you're putting in your body, the easier it becomes to make those decisions.
Correct. And it's not simple. It's not a simple journey. It takes work, especially because we weren't raised that way. Okay, especially we're both Latina, so we have the culture too, which is also another thing, because the culture brings food that might not be healthy, because what I've learned is the food that we used to eating is because it's whatever available in the country, right? At the time. So like in Puerto Rico, we eat a lot of plantains, the green bananas, a lot of starch, yuca, things that grow out of the ground. So, and then they eat a lot of pork. I right now, it's been 3 weeks now, I haven't eaten any meat. I'm completely detoxing from that. I've had a little bit of fish, very little, but I haven't had any chicken, pork, and I haven't eaten beef in 5.5 years now. So just completely changed all that stuff. So it's amazing. I'm so blessed to see you, that you've gone through all this and you can be able to talk to other people and let them know their journey. I know you're going to bring it up. JC here before me, his beautiful woman had breast cancer and she passed away. So JC really knows a lot about that journey, and he's learned now through me and my struggles, because I had the stroke 5.5 years ago, and he was awesome. He took care of me. Okay. So he knows a lot about the food, how important, and he used to argue with
the
us.
The thing is that they don't teach you this in school. When we were in school, they used to say, you are what you eat, but they didn't do the specifics.
Right.
Of if you eat too much of this, you can get this, or you can develop that. That was never in school. It's just like they don't teach you business. But
right, they don't teach you business. They don't teach you health.
Exactly.
Our health class is not really the health that you need.
They don't even teach you how to use a checkbook.
I
think finally, when my kids were little, they had the banks were coming in for them to open up savings account and things like that. But there's so much stuff, like, I don't know, when my mother was in school, like back in the 50s, they used to give a home ec course, or like a cooking class, that you actually know how to cook, how to iron your clothes, like basic stuff. And now they don't teach any of that. So now just basic things that a lot of the youth don't know. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
All right. So let's continue our conversation. So, so when this happened to you, when you had to go through this cancer and all these things that were going through your life, you were already a psychologist, correct? You were a clinical psychologist?
Yes. I was already a clinical psychologist. I had gotten my degree early on. Like I said, I'm a high achiever. I think part of that comes from being Cuban. And so, you know, when my mom came to this country, it was very, very clear what the assignment was. The assignment was you are to get an education. You can get whatever education you want. You become whatever you want to become. And so there was really never any question what I could be. So I had already been in a psychologist. I had already owned my own private practice. I was already very successful, you know, financially as well as internationally. By that point, I had already been speaking on international stages. I had met Sharon Lecter, who's a dear friend of mine. You know, I had the opportunities of knowing Frank Shankowitz, who's the founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Brian Brian Smith, who's the founder of Uggs. So, you know, I can't complain for the amount of blessings that were given to me. And believe it or not, everybody would say to me, I'm so sorry that you got cancer. And my response always was, that's okay, because it's a blessing. Because regardless of my circumstance, I had to be grateful for whatever I was being given and the lessons that I was being given. Does that mean that I was delusional about what I had? Absolutely not. How can you be in denial or delusional when you have two different types of cancer running through your body? It's kind of hard. But I always see things from a blessing standpoint, which is gratitude, right? And that's really mindset. And so I always walked into every injection, every chemo, I mean, I was literally there every single day. I'd have to get up by myself. I'd have to get myself there, make sure that I completed what I needed to do. And interestingly enough, because I got heart failure from the chemo, they wound up having to stop part of the treatment before it was completed. Most people don't know that. I don't really share that with everybody because a lot of people don't understand my mindset, at least, and you get a lot of the sympathy, which is really great and nice that people want to be empathic with you. But I don't think they're understanding, like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, God has healed me. Like, I am healed. You know, I'm here for my kids. My kids have learned to use the language that I use, which is, it's a blessing. So no matter what the negative outcome is or what the negative circumstance is, I've taught them through this to be able to accept the circumstances in which they're in, because there is something for you there. There is a gift for you there if you're willing to see it and if you're willing to accept it and receive it.
That's an interesting way to think. And I don't know, JC, if you want to talk about that, because I don't know. Wait a minute, I have a question for you, because she's talking about, you went through this, you never had gone through that, right? With this woman you were with. And do you feel at that time you weren't in that, were you in that gratitude? You weren't taking it as a gratitude, you were just taking it as a bad time.
Right, but I mean, I embraced it though, you know, I just, the most thing that I was upset about was when that person was going through the chemo in the beginning and everything. They told me, are you sure you want to stay with this person? Like, they put a negative vibe in my mind, like, you know, this is going to happen to her and this is going to develop this. They never gave me the insurance. They right away, they said it was terminal. So he says, are you sure you want to take on this journey? I said, yeah, I want to be here till the end. And that's the way it was. Now, it only took her 3 years to get from worse to go away, you know, so she never improved. And her eating habits were not well either, because she had a 14-year-old daughter. So now that she knew she had cancer and she was battling, she was trying to give her daughter everything that she can possibly give her to make her happy, because she already had a mindset that she was gonna go. So that's where it starts first, your mindset.
Right, exactly.
You have to be strong. You want to fight for this.
Right.
So everything that her daughter ate, pizza, nacho. So these are all the bad foods that just aggravate more the situation. She didn't care.
But she probably didn't know either.
She
That's
didn't
the whole
know.
thing
Well, that's
too.
the thing. We're not educated on that. If I
Correct.
knew now, and thanks to Alita, I mean, I've learned even more on how to eat. I never knew the stuff about cancer and
And the
we
food
always
and-
knew about, you go to the doctor, you get chemo, you get radiation, and and everything's gonna be fine. I didn't know this, but in the last 4 or 5 years, I mean, after the math, then I learned, wow, this was, there was a solution, but they didn't want to give us the solution.
Because they don't give you the solution. When you go to the doctor, they're right away, take this medication, get the drugs, do the chemo. Everything is to hurt your body and nothing to heal the body. And that's why I rebooted this podcast out there, to let people know that's not the only way. Open your mind and research and ask questions. Go to a second, a third, a fourth opinion. Okay? Find a doctor.
But it's also
that's truly
important,
going to
Alida,
heal
I'm
you.
sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's also important because you could get a second, a third, or fourth opinion, but if you're getting them from the same type of thinking, you're going to get the same response,
Exactly.
right? And
Right.
so it is important to get varying opinions, but I think it's also important for you to do your homework and your research. And if you feel, because it is overwhelming, when I got the call, it was a Saturday morning when I got the call that and it was the hardest call that I think my doctor had ever made. I've known him for 20 years, and he didn't know how to tell me, and all he kept saying was, "Did they tell you?" And I was like, "No, they didn't tell me anything because they said the doctor is the one who has to give me the results." I said, "So we're on the call." I said, "And I'm sorry." I already figured out, like I already knew something was wrong because the night before he left a message that sounded like he was dying, right? And so I knew there was a problem.
Right.
And so I was like, "It's okay, you can tell me." I said, "Because we need to move forward." And so without him telling me, we couldn't move forward. And so he tells me, "I'm really sorry, but you have lobular carcinoma." And my cancer was actually, again, being a high achiever, it was in a location in the breast that rarely women get. I think about 10% of the breast cancers are in the location where mine were. Most breast cancer individuals have them in the ducts. Mine was actually in la masa, in the meat, so in the lobular, which is harder to detect. It doesn't get detected all the time by a mammogram, so I was really, really fortunate that they found it. But that Saturday, I spent crying. I had called my brother, I called my sister-in-law. I was already in the process in the middle of a divorce. So I was like, I need to be assured that you guys will take my children. I'm like, I need to be assured that my children, like whatever battle I'm about to go through, I need to make sure that those kids are well taken care of. I was like, I will deed you the houses. I will deed you whatever I need to deed you so that you can take on this responsibility. And my brother said to me, "Isaura, we're not even going to talk about that." He said, "Because you are the strongest woman I have ever met in my entire life." He said, "So we're not going to talk about that." He's like, "We're going to take it one step at a time. We're going to see what the doctors say, and then we're going to move accordingly." But that night, imagínate, I went through the whole day bottling this in. I went to work. I took care of patients. I did my routine. Everything was like a regular Saturday, except I have just been told I have stage 3 lobular carcinoma in 2 different cancers in each of these tumors. So when I got home at night and I went to go to bed, I didn't cry myself to sleep. I actually sobbed to the point that I think I hyperventilated myself and knocked myself out to sleep.
Wow.
And the last thought I had was, I cannot believe that this is how my journey ends. About 3 a.m, more or less, I was, what I say, woken up by nothing other than the Holy Spirit, because I was sleeping and I literally woke up. And the first thought in my head is, your journey is not over. Today, your journey begins. The
Amen.
minute
Thank God
that
for
was
that.
given to me, right, and this is why I'm sharing this, going back to the going to 2 or 3, I was like, all right, you're giving me a message, and I have control of what's going to happen to me. Good,
Yeah.
bad, or ugly. I'm going to go down swinging if that's the way it is, and I'm going to go down taking pride that I took care of myself and that I am going to use everything you've given me, God, to this point to get me to what you need me to learn. And so I made 4 phone calls that morning, and text messages, and I shared with those 4 people what had happened, and they were very strategic people. Becca was one of them.
Mm.
I had another girlfriend who's very spiritual. I had a guy friend who we worked together with business and stuff like that, because he had been like, hey, there's something a little off with you. What's going on? And the other person was the daughter of an old patient of mine. I helped this person through their very rare form of cancer, which led the daughter to become a naturopath in the process. And so she had specialized in this, and I reached out to her, and she said, Dr. Gonzalez, whatever you need, I will tell you whatever I know, because you gave everything to my family. And so that's how it worked. And then I learned very quickly. That's why I lost so much weight very quickly. I learned very quickly what to do. It was trial and error with my supplements. I was reading everything at the store. My kids were like, does it really take you 3 hours? Like, does it really take you 3 hours? You came out with like
yeah.
2 things. Like, do you
Like,
really
I read
have
everything.
to like read?
Everything on the back of the little package.
You have
I'm
to
like,
read everything.
well, how many carbs?
Because
What's the protein? Where's the sugar come from? Is it good sugar? Is it bad? Yeah. Oh, you have to.
potato chips even have sugar. Like, when you begin to be conscious of what you're eating, you will begin to realize that we are putting into our bodies maybe things that we don't want in our body, maybe things that
Exactly.
aren't going to make our body work. My body works like my teenage boys. At one point, the doctor thought I was purging. They thought that I was purposefully losing weight and I was purging my food. And I was like, no, Patty. I'm like, you don't understand something. I'm like, I love food. I'm like, so let's start there. I'm like, second, I'm like, I pay for food. Like, I'm not wasting my money doing that. And I showed her a picture of my breakfast that day, and she said, oh, you really are eating. And I said, yes, I am. I said, it's just all healthy. And that was the difference. The difference is I could have a huge plate, but it was all greens. It was all raw.
Exactly.
And I was juicing. So every single thing that was going through my body was actually nutritious. So I could drink 6 fresh pressed juices a day and maybe eat a meal or 2 because I had gotten everything that my body wanted. And I learned that if my body craved bananas, I'm going to give me bananas. If my body craved mangoes, I was going to eat mangoes. If my body wanted beets, I was going to give myself beets. I learned to not use the box that we're taught in society. Oh, you can only have, so right now I'm eating a lot of microgreens, and some people are like, oh no, you just put like a little. And I'm like, a little? I really like them and my body's craving them. I'm like, and then I was like, you have to have like 20 pounds to like make them toxic for yourself a day. I'm not eating 20 pounds of microgreens. So I can give myself like a good, like, put it down. Like, I'm good with that. I know I'm not killing myself because it's not toxic. I would have to do 20 pounds. They don't even sell them in 20 pounds.
No.
I don't think I could eat 20 pounds of microgreens a day. So there is a lot that you, as a consumer, as a person, as a human being on this planet, need to be able to do for yourself. We rely a lot on medical professionals. Like, a lot of people come to me, right? And I always tell them, I only see you 30, 45 an hour, depending, a week, there's a lot of other times. So you need to do work in between to get the results that you want. I knew that. And I think, JC, you talked about that mindset. It really is a mindset, because when it was very clear to me that whatever was presented in front of me was a choice, and it was either in line with my commitment or not. And so if someone presented a burger, and I would ask, is this in line with what my commitment is? My commitment was to detox and to stay alive. And it wasn't. So I passed. I'm like, no. My kids would ask me often, Mommy, I remember the first time we were at IHOP, they were eating. I was just kind of watching them. And they said to me, Mommy, pumpkin season is coming. I love Dunkin' Donuts pumpkin coffee. They're like, pumpkin coffee's coming. I realized you're not going to be able to have any. Doesn't that make you sad? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, why not? And I was like, because I love all of you more than I love pumpkin coffee.
That's right. That's right. I want to say you said exactly the same thing I said when I talked about my journey, about you had to make a decision to live or die. And that was the bottom line. I have 2 sons, and that's the only thing I could think of was my children. And I went through a similar situation when I had the stroke. I woke up about 3 in the morning, and I woke up because I was having a dream. And in the dream, the doctor comes in and said, Miss Hernandez, you just had a stroke. He came in my dream. It's like God woke me up at that moment. I woke up and I'm like, did I have a stroke? But you're mentally disoriented, because now I had oxygen depletion to my brain. So I didn't know what was going on. So it took me a little while to maneuver, and I even struggled. I even made myself get up, and I couldn't move on my left side. And I went to go to the bathroom and I fell on the floor. And I went, I think I had a stroke. And then the journey started from there. And JC can attest that when you're talking about foods and all the changes, this poor guy, so he meets me, he knows I'm Puerto Rican.
He meant well. And,
and I said to him, I'm cooking food. And he's like, what are you cooking? And he's like, where are the pork chops? I go, no pork chops. He's like, what? So for the first 1.5 years, I was completely vegan. So poor JC, I didn't make any meat. So he was sneaking out, going out, getting a little McDonald's burger just to get his little fix or something. I find the wrappers in the car. I go, did you go to McDonald's? I'm sorry, honey, I'm hungry.
Well, I did it for 8 months. I mean, I didn't really.
And he ate. He ate everything I made. He ate everything. He learned to love quinoa now, and sweet potatoes and lentils, and he's very healthy now. He'll have his meat. He needs to have his pork chop.
Yeah, I cheat once in a while, but it's not something that it's not excessive. It's once a month or once in a blue moon. But usually she cooks at home, and she cooks very delicious, and she cooks everything natural. And now we're conscious of what's out there and what all these food corporations are putting in our foods, and everything that's bagged is processed, and cans is the worst thing for you. I mean, I was
watching a show. It was something about how food is made or something. There's a show on TV, like on Discovery, and it talks about how the origins of food started. So one of the things they talk about was bread, right? So like Wonder Bread back in the 70s now, or even before that. And they were talking about a lot of foods were made for the army people, because we had war. So World War II, World War I, they started making products that would last longer on a shelf, because they were in the middle of the trenches. And that's the reason why it was created, not for human consumption, for everybody, but because they started making money, so much money, and everybody fell in love with these products that are packaged and lasted months in your refrigerator or on a shelf. It became normal consumption for everybody. So people don't realize all the chemicals that are in there to preserve the food. If you put a piece of bread out there and it doesn't get moldy after 3 weeks, there's something wrong, okay?
Right.
There's something wrong. Why is it not getting bad? And you're eating that. So that goes into your body. We're gonna take a short break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk more about your Latina Mastermind and your MOODNETICS. MOODNETICS, right? So
MOODNETICS.
Right
yes.
back in a minute.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40 plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come on down and visit the studio to view his work, or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com, or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
So I just have one
His
more
work
question.
is incredible.
Huh? The artwork?
His
Isn't
work
it
is
beautiful?
incredible. Yes.
Yeah, it's all around us here in the studio. And if people are in Boca, they can come here to the studio and all the artwork's for sale. So you can find out information about that too. I just have one question that JC and I were talking on the break here that he didn't know and I didn't know, that there are different types of breast cancer. You said there are 3 different types of breast
Okay,
cancers?
let me explain what I was trying to say. Okay, you know how they're when you get diagnosed, they tell you have first, second, third, or fourth stage cancer, right? But what stuck to my mind was, Isaura, when you said that you had 3 different kinds of cancer. So how do you juggle the 3 types of cancer, and then how do you categorize it on the stages, 1 through 4?
The way it works, so I had 2 different types of cancers, which means one type of cancer cell was unique from the other. So the treatments couldn't be the same. Most people get one type of breast cancer. When you get breast cancer, you get either hormone sensitive, or you get HER2 positive, or unfortunately you get the triple negative, as it's called. So those are the 3 types of cancer. I luckily did not have the triple negative. I had the other 2. So the way they classify it is they take the biggest tumor from whichever cancer it is. So they take the biggest tumor. They take into account any lymph node activity that may have been in account. So it depends on how many lymph nodes are impacted, which increases your risk. So if you look at stage 1, my mom had stage, I think, between 0 and 1 when she had her breast cancer at almost 80. I was the second one diagnosed, and believe it or not, my aunt is going through it right now, and she has the triple negative. Her tumor is actually the size of my hand at this point, and she's having surgery in like 2 weeks. Because that one's a very aggressive. It grows very, very quickly.
Wow.
But the way they classify it, JC, is in terms of your largest tumor and then your lymph node activities. So they go, everything is by the book. It's almost like a recipe, right? Like, if this, then yes. If not, then here. And that's how they go through it. And when they first gave me just the sizes, because I wasn't clear, I said to the doctor, I was like, is that stage 4? I mean, because it was a huge tumor. And she's like, oh, dear Lord, no. She's like, dear Lord, no. She's like, you're going to be around with us. Don't. It's not stage 4. She's like, it's stage 3. And then she explained to me, because I did have, it did get into my lymph system, which is the problem. Yeah. But that's why I had so much treatment. Because I was getting treated for 2 different types of cancers at the same time.
So she's a miracle.
But I'm telling
you're
you,
a miracle. You're a miracle of healing, and I know your family was probably praying for you too. And it's everything compounded. And then once you made your decision again about mindset, and you can talk a little bit. We have a few minutes left. If you want to talk a little bit about the mastermind that you work on, and just a little bit about that.
Well, it's the same thing like, JC and us, we've been talking about, which is really mindset. In order to get successful or to be successful, it really is a mindset. And it's a mindset of being able to accept failure in the process of learning. And if you don't accept failure, you cannot accept success because you cannot have success without failure. They go hand in hand. Like in Spanish, we say uña y carne. That's what it is. It's uña carne, right? You can't have one without the other. Nails just don't grow, without your skin. Like, it needs your skin, and your skin needs the nails, right? Like, so it's a symbiotic relationship. And so with Latina Mastermind, I work with Latina women, with their mindset and with leadership. One of the new programs that I've just created is called Limitless Leadership, because it touches just on that, right? Like, you are a limitless human being. Your potential is limitless. It really is. We set limits on ourselves, right? Our inner black feelings.
That's correct.
And then others set limits for us. So when people would tell me, oh, you can't do that because, you have to take the chemo and you can't be juicing. I went around the system and I found a hospital, and every question where I went was like, can I do I'm like, I need to do these things. I'm like, you can't tell me I can't eat this. Right. You can't tell me I have to go drink milk because I haven't drank it now in a very long time and I know it's going to make me sick. And I found a place that said, we'll work with you. And I said, perfect. I said, then we'll have a great relationship and we can work together. When the radiation doctor said, Isaura, I need you to cut back on the antioxidants, because radiation is an oxidant. And if you take antioxidants, you're going to cancel out the radiation.
Wow.
Deal. I was like, deal. You got it. I will cut back. He's like, I'm not telling you to stop. He said, I'm just telling you to put it less than what you've been doing so that I can do what I need to do for you. Perfect. We'll go with it.
That's great.
So
That's
again,
amazing.
it is amazing, but
you have to get, I'm sorry, you have to get that balance. So you have to get a doctor that's going to work with you and understand you and say, yes, let me work with you. Because I fought with my doctor too. I'm not taking those pills. Nope, I'm not taking those pills. He's like, why? I said, because I got my cholesterol good now. Why do I need to take the stupid cholesterol medicine?
We both had it.
I cut,
so. But it's your potential, right? And that's what I teach women, right? And that's not in my private practice, right? Because I see men and women in my private practice. But one of my passions and my purpose, I think, here on this earth is really to allow people to understand that they are limitless. We've put the limits on ourselves. Right. You have to own what it is that you want. You have to take ownership of it. No one is going to give it to you. You need to take ownership. And that doesn't mean to be aggressive. That means to know it belongs to you and you move forward. Health belongs to me.
No magic pills.
No magic pills.
So I hate to cut you off. This was an incredible conversation, but we've hit our hour. And so thank you, doctor, so much for being here. I can spend like another hour talking to you, but it's all good. We'll have you again on the show. And thank you, everybody. Rebooted the podcast. See you next Tuesday.
Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Rebooted the Podcast to learn about each episode's guests and topics. This is your host, Alita Hernandez. See you next Tuesday.